This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
From our A-Cup House studio home, welcome to the television audience now. We've been here on radio for a little while, but it's great to have you watching all over the world now on streaming platforms that you can find at CircleCountry.com, or you can watch right there. Charlie Mattos to my right, to my left. Oh, Kelly Sutton is with Carrie Underwood in New York.
Oh, well, so much for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, something about a VIP list. Spoiled rotten. I'm telling you, she's spoiled rotten.
Yeah. See, that's the problem. She has people. Like, I'm your people. So it doesn't really, you get nothing out of that. So,
Annie Nye is our studio director. Rock solid Jeff Roberts is in master control right above me, as a matter of fact. That's where he does works his magic. And it's so great to have you here. We're catching up on Carrie Underwood as we were going off the air yesterday. You announced that she would be the season 23, season 8 American Idol judge, along with Lionel Richie and Luke Bryan, replacing Katy Perry.
Yep.
And I've been confused all along. Well, did she come in and do a season that I forgot about? Season 8? Well, there are 23 seasons of American Idol. This is the math. First 15 were on Fox.
Right.
ABC didn't want to carry those over.
We do not acknowledge those.
They started at 1,
right.
And now we're up to season 8 with auditions starting as quickly as August 12th. For American Idol and Carrie Underwood.
It's like Roger Maris with the baseball home run record back in the day. Got to put an asterisk next to it so it makes sense.
And
right?
if you're wondering, season 4 was the year she won.
Yep.
She was 22. She is now 41 years old and going back to American Idol as a part of the family. Read a sweet story about, she said, we were in our little house in Chakotah, me and Mama. We were watching. And they said they had auditions way off in St. Louis. Mama said, I'll drive you if you want to go. And then they changed the world.
Yeah.
That road trip changed the landscape of country music forever. And this guy's hoping to do the same thing. His name is Ryan Larkins, and he's debuting at the Grand Ole Opry this weekend. And I get to be a part of that. New single called Bones, and he's joining us in studio here in just a little while. And then Cyndi Thompson is coming back to see us. It's been a while since she was in. But a new single called Liar that comes out today, and she's got a gig at Chiefs, Eric Church's place in downtown Nashville, coming up in the days ahead.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
So his daddy was a preacher. My daddy was a preacher. And that makes us preachers' kids. And it's a very special fraternity to be a part of. Ryan Larkins, welcome back, preacher's boy, to Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be back.
And we are headed to the Grand Ole. Look across that Opry Plaza. There's the entrance to the Grand Ole Opry House. You're in our new studio home, which is the A-Cup House. And in a few hours, the big red curtain is going up on Ryan Larkins' Grand Ole Opry debut.
Can you believe that? This is amazing. I mean, this is what I've worked so hard for and dreamed about my whole life, and I'm this close.
And WSM has been a part of that journey along the way as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Y'all have supported me from the get-go, and I'm so thankful for WSM. That's the truth.
Now, the coolest part of that scenario is to go in that entrance, you need to buy a ticket. You get to go in the artist entrance where you don't need a ticket. You got to be invited to go in that one. That's the cool part.
And you got to practice, because to go to the artist entrance is how you get to the A-Cup House.
Yeah, true.
So he got to practice his entrance.
Right.
Yep.
That's right.
Tomorrow night.
That's exactly right. So,
as a kid growing up in Nashville, because this is your hometown, that's a rarity in the music business.
yes, sir.
When would have been the first time you went to the Grand Ole Opry? Do you have a childhood memory?
You know, I think it was more when I was an adult. I was raised more on gospel music, so I wasn't as familiar with country music, but I was probably, I would say, like 21, 22. First time I went to the Grand Ole Opry.
What do you remember about it?
I remember walking in, and there's just a feeling you get. Like it's just, you can kind of tell the history. You can tell so many great artists have been up there on that stage playing, and I just remember it was just a magical night. You know.
You remember who played? Anybody's performance stand out to you?
I believe it was the Del McCoury Band. They were up there.
Consummate showmen and musicians.
Oh, my word. You are right. You are absolutely right. Other than that, I mean, I have been so many times, so I don't remember a whole lot about that first time other than being. blown away.
Being a Pentecostal preacher's kid growing
Yes,
up,
sir.
you talked about you were exposed to gospel music, quartet music, I guess, probably.
For sure.
Early on first. When did you start sneaking in that country music? And who was it?
I probably, when I was older, probably like 19, 20.
Oh, really?
Something like that. Yes, sir. But I mean, I fell in love with classic country music. That's always kind of been my favorite. And I remember buying a record player, and I would just go to Goodwill and buy all the classic country records. And I fell in love with it. Like Eddie Arnold, he still has one of my favorite classic country voices.
Oh, he's what a crooner. And
yeah.
I think Willie Nelson was big for you too.
Oh, you ain't kidding. And what I love about Willie Nelson is he's not only got just such a unique voice, and he is so unique as an artist, but he writes songs for other people, and I admire that so much, and those are footsteps that I hope to follow in.
I was just thinking of that transition. You know, if you use the Oak Ridge Boys as the gateway drug, it covers both, so nobody gets mad.
There
right?
you
That's
go.
the beauty of that, right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Well, when you were here last, we were playing a new thing called King of Country Music.
Yes, sir.
And we had to wait because you gave us great tease on who the King of Country Music was, and ask everybody to guess when we found out. In fact, you mentioned songwriters just now. It's the song.
Absolutely.
And
Yes,
ironically,
sir.
today is the anniversary of the birth of Hank Cochran. And nobody did it better. There's a reason he's in the Country Music Hall of Fame and the Songwriters Hall of Fame.
One of the very best. I mean, he was one of the best. I wish I could have met him and written a song with him. What a legend.
You know what he used to tell Larry Gatlin when they'd be out on a boat or something out on the lake, because he loved to live. I think maybe lived on the lake at one time, but they'd be tossing around song ideas or just in general conversation. A bunch of songwriters, and this, Hank would go, "Hey now, be careful what you say around the genius." So I guess he wasn't against stealing a song idea that came up in a conversation if he heard it and stuck, right?
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I love it.
When did you start writing? When did you realize you had that gift in addition to the musical, the vocal gift?
You know, I started writing songs when I was like 12 or 13, but they were all gospel songs, and they weren't very good. I really believe I started writing songs when I got my publishing deal like 5 years ago. I was writing with some of the legends, and that's when I really learned how to craft a song. And just some
one of those writing sessions included Bill Anderson.
Yes, sir.
And famously wound up being a part of a duet with Dolly Parton.
That's right. And I mean, I love Bill so much. He is one of my favorite people, and he's just such a class act. Like, I remember walking in the room that day, and I was so nervous. You know, I was like, I had a cup of coffee and my hand was shaking.
And share with the audience, before you tell the story, the song was?
The song was Someday It'll All Make Sense.
And you came with that line, as I recall, in Bill's version of the story.
That's right. And we were kind of writing a different song. And
Bobby Tomberlin?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Bobby Tomberlin. And so I just remember we were like through with the chorus, and we were writing a song about how we have questions for God when we get to heaven. And Bill, he's like, this is just hitting a little bit too close to home for me. I don't think I can write this song today. And he had just lost a dear friend of his. And then we were just kind of talking about that. And I said, you know, I believe someday it'll all make sense. And he looked up and he said, that's the song I want to write today. Someday it'll all make sense.
You must have felt 10 feet tall and bulletproof at that point, huh?
I felt pretty good. Not going to lie.
Well, at least I know I'm going to get a third of it right now.
Right.
But writing with people like that, it makes you up your A. You got to bring your A game, right? So you
really
only
does.
get better working with people like that, I would think.
That's so
right?
true.
Yeah.
That's so true. And I just treat it like school. I still do. Every time I go into the writer's room with somebody like that, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have my pencil, I'm going to have my paper ready, and I'm just going to study. I'm going to watch what these people are doing, and I'm going to try to soak it up like a sponge and learn as much as I can from them.
More coffee, country, and Cody is on WSM.
All right, Ryan Larkins is here debuting at the Grand Ole Opry from the Acuff House. He keeps looking out the studio window over at the entrance to the Grand Ole Opry House with a bit of disbelief on your face that this is actually coming down tomorrow night. You think your slot's between 8:30 and 9? Is that what they've told you?
That's what I'm thinking. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you'll be next to last. That's the way Charlie and I have got it figured.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm thinking you're either going to be right before Don Schlitz or the Isaacs.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's no pressure at all, right?
So take us back when you were here last with King of Country Music. We had an EP.
Yes, sir.
Meet Ryan Larkins had just come out. You've had success, and you got to give us the backstory on working with Cody Johnson and The Painter and how well that song has done for you.
It's just been amazing to watch that song take on a whole new life, you know, with him recording it. I've believed in that song for a long time. That song's been around for a while. And
did you hate to let it go, thinking that I want to save that one for me one day?
Honestly, no. I should say yes, but I having somebody like an artist like Cody Johnson believe in it that much, I just had a good feeling from the beginning. And so, like when he recorded it, I was just so excited. You know, that's.
Did you get to go to the session?
I did not. I found out after the fact, which I'm all good with that. That's great. But then I got the call that it was the first single off of that album, and I mean, we were so excited. We were jumping up and down.
Well, so was he, because it did big things for him too.
Well, that's nice, but it's funny to see how a song like that it really is a life-changing thing.
And
it really is.
Bones, which we heard just before the break. I don't remember a song with chicken noodle soup in it recently, with a reference to that anyway. But stirring it up like chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, I think so.
I told you, I kind of felt a Tony Joe White vibe come over me.
Yes, sir.
When you were singing Bones. But that's going to be the new EP coming in the fall,
yes, sir.
Maybe?
Coming out in October.
Okay.
So I'm so excited about that. This new music, I've been working on this for a little while, and these songs are just all coming together, and I feel like I'm writing some of the best songs I've ever written this year. So I'm thrilled.
So it's one thing being in the studio, because you get very familiar with your songs. I mean, you hear the mixes, and before it's ever released, you've probably heard the songs 1,000 times. It's totally different randomly hearing something on the radio. Do you remember the first time you've heard you on the radio, or maybe Cody and the Painter on the radio, and it came out of the blue?
Oh, yeah. I'll be honest. I was in the airport, actually, in Nashville, and I got a call, and one of the people, like from the label, they were like, "Hey, you need to get on this app, and you're going to hear something familiar." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And so I got on, and from San Antonio, Texas, like the very first time King of Country Music was ever on the radio, I was standing in the airport, and I mean, it was like the best feeling ever. You know, just knowing that your song is being played around the country. I mean, it's amazing.
You want to get on the PA and say, "This is my song, people." You know?
Right.
Well, recreate it live for us in studio this morning. What you feeling like?
You know what? I'm feeling I might do the Painter for y'all.
Okay.
That way, I do have this version out everywhere, so you can stream it. But this is a song that I'm so thankful for. Thankful for Cody Johnson.
Inspired by Shantae, is that your wife's name?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thought
That's
I
right.
remembered that. I think she's the only Shantae I know.
She's one of a kind.
And was the inspiration, obviously, for that song.
That's right.
And would she have been the first person you played it for after
Absolutely.
you got it? Yeah.
Absolutely. I got home, I played that song for her, and she said, "I believe that is a very special song." Oh. And she's tough on my songs sometimes. So that I knew when she said that, I was like, okay, this really is a great song. And it's so special sharing that with her and being in the car, listening to it on the radio.
Well, you guys have been together like, what, 15 years now or something like that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How many kids?
3.
Now, how tough are the kids on your songs?
Oh, they are very, very tough.
And what are their ages? Because Thomas Rhett, famously runs his songs by his girls.
They're 12, 10, and 7. So,
they got opinion.
They know everything.
Really do. My 10-year-old is like the most opinionated. He really gives me honest feedback, and he hurts my feelings quite a bit.
Well, it's interesting how a song can change too, because Cody's version is very faithful, but just a little different.
That's right.
But you also have a piano version of that song out, and just that subtle change, it's almost a different song. It's amazing what that can do, huh?
That's so right.
Yeah.
Just the instrumentation, it really can change a song so much.
Can you play piano too? Is that you or
no? That's actually Jay DeMarcus playing
really?
piano. So that's pretty.
Oh, that's
pretty
cool. Yeah.
Wasn't he in a band once?
He was in one of those bands.
A boy band?
Yeah. Was it the Gary LeVox band? He's going to kill me for that one.
Well, Ryan Larkins is our special guest, and he's on his way to his Grand Ole Opry debut that I get to host tomorrow night, just a few hours away. And so proud to share that moment with you tomorrow night. And for folks here in Nashville, on Tuesday of next week, he's going to be at the infamous Bluebird doing exactly this, just sitting on a stool, guitar, playing songs for people.
Yes, sir. I love the Bluebird too. That's one of my favorite places, and you get to kind of share the stories and the inspiration behind the song. So I'm excited about that.
We should point out the new music out on Red Street Records as well. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, good stuff. Sir. You got a lot of good label mates. They've all come and visited us in the past too. Ryan Griffin, Neon Union, Jason Crabb, Chris Lane, all on that label as well. So
it's a great group of people, and I'm so thankful to be a part of that.
And
I really am.
And your piano player runs that label.
Well, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well,
yes,
coincidentally,
sir.
yeah. So.
Good morning, J-Boy. And then you're off to Fresno, California, August the 15th. Right. And you can follow him at ryanlarkins.com. And appreciate you so much, you and your family, for coming to see us. They're off camera this morning, but please know that the support is here in the house, the Grand Ole Opry House, that is, with Ryan Larkins on Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
And welcome back, Cyndi Thompson, to Coffee, Country, and Cody with new music.
Yes.
It is so good to see you.
I'm so happy to be here.
We have moved since you were with us last.
Listen, this is pretty amazing. And you can see all the, all the people, the tourists walking around, looking through the windows. It's pretty amazing. This is beautiful. Do you guys love it?
We do. Yeah. We really do. And it's so special to me because I got to know Mr. Acuff a little bit. I was still in San Antonio. He passed before I actually made it to WSM and the Grand Ole Opry in 94. He passed in 92. But he lived here from 84 to 92.
Yep.
And 84 was also the year, the old studio, the Magnolia Lobby studio, that's when that was built. So they're the same age.
Oh my gosh.
So we left a 40-year home to move to a home that's 40 years old.
First time my parents ever came to visit me, we went to the Grand Ole Opry. I have a photo of them in front of the Acuff House in 1991. So,
this is amazing, guys.
Calling this our home is just really cool.
It's meant to be.
The Acuff House, the mailbox is still out there with his name on it.
Yep. So, and the Opry stage famously has the circle from the Ryman.
Yes.
The stage you're on today is from that same wood.
Are you kidding me?
That's from the same Ryman stage that the circle comes from.
I knew something felt a little amazing up here. So
you know what that is?
I love it.
You feel a little Patsy Cline creeping
I do.
up.
I do. I mean, when you stand on that circle, there's nothing like it. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. So, yeah. Pretty amazing.
So, Cyndi, what's it like? What's the journey been like this time around versus 24 years ago?
We don't have to put a number on that, Bill. I'm going to leave here right now.
Indulge me.
It's so beautiful. My children are grown, and so they're getting to see me follow a dream that I've had in my heart since I was 12.
And how old are they now?
My daughter Bella's 19 and Hayden is 15.
Oh, wow.
So
they're really
it's perfect timing.
Perfect ages to appreciate what mom's doing.
Yeah, I've always just really encouraged them to have vision and goals and dreams. And here I am kind of picking mine back up, and it feels like home. I've missed it so much. So it feels good.
Do they have musical aspirations at all, either one of them?
They're both very musical. My son can sing really well, but he just won't do it. I keep pushing him for choir and stuff. He's like, no, Mom. My daughter plays every instrument pretty much, and she's just a beautiful singer, but we'll see. Maybe she and I'll do something together at some point.
Go ahead.
Are they good sounding boards for songs? If they like it, it's a good sign, or?
Yes, my son is. My daughter, she chimes in, but my son will listen to something and go, Mama, this is big, or Mama, I love that. So, so yeah.
What was the moment as the years have passed where you said, "Yeah, I'm gonna come back"? Because famously Garth retired for a time to raise the girls.
Yeah.
And then came back and reconquered the world.
Right. Sure. Yes, he did.
But was there a moment in time where something just clicked and you said,
Yes. A couple years ago, my father passed away, and I was sitting with him the day he passed. Each sister went in to talk with him. And we knew he was going to go that evening, but we had time together, and I just talked with him about his life. He was a Marine. He was stationed in Morocco. He drove the Moroccan prince around. His job was the chauffeur and to train the German shepherds. I mean, he had this amazing life. And then we began to talk about music, and I was like, "Daddy, I'm sorry I never played the Opry again for you." And so I guess it was just the next day after he passed, I just drove around my hometown, and I was like, "God, I'm going to make a record. I'm going to make a country record. I'm not going to wait anymore." So I had to push through that fear of like, what does this look like? I know it's a whole new ball of wax now. People do it differently now, independently, and there's so many ways to go about it, but I jumped in head first because I just didn't want to have any regrets.
And how long did it take from the time you had that conversation with yourself and your dad's passing for it to start to move forward?
So he passed in February. In the fall, I have a jewelry company. I make one-of-a-kind pieces for a lot of artists, and it's just my passion.
And where can I get something for Charlie for holiday gift giving?
Yes, you can buy him a big old rhinestone necklace.
Yes. And what website do I go to?
heybellco.com. But anyway, it was in the fall. I was making some jewelry for some artists, and I just was on some stages with some artists, just watching from the stage, and just was like, okay, I'm really going to do this. And it was probably about 6 months later, I got together with Tommy James, who I wrote My World with. We wrote that entire record together. And I said, "Hey, you want to help me write some songs? I'm going to put some music out." And he said, yes. And I really didn't know how I was going to do it, but we started writing, and it was within a matter of maybe 6 months. I was in the studio, and it was just done. There was no time wasted. We have been hustling. So
you said all the girls had some time with your late father. How many sisters?
I have 4 sisters.
So the total of 5, or were there
There's
boys?
5 of us. Yes.
Yes, okay. All girls.
All girls.
House full of girls.
Yes.
How many bathrooms?
2. 2.
Not
And
recommended.
A water hose out back. So
growing up in Georgia. So was your dad musical at all, having traveled the world and seen so many things?
He loved music. We listened to the oldies a whole lot in his car. My mom could play piano, but I think it comes from my grandfather. He was from Appalachia, and he could play, the banjo and mandolin and the spoons on his knee. I thought that was so cool when I was little.
Me too.
But yeah, so I think that's kind of where the musical side comes from. Yeah.
And as I sit here and think about the passage of time and back to moments like that are so instrumental in seeing you where you are today, talk about a guy named Paul Sykes.
Oh, wow. Well,
and what we're going to hear here in just a minute, the new single, Liar, because there is a very special moment on social media where the strings were added.
Yes.
And it was an epiphany of sorts.
It was magical. It was exactly what it needed. I mean, Paul and I met through a friend of ours, Buddy, and he was like, "You guys need to write." And we had written Georgia and Me a while back. Mm-hmm. And when I knew I was making music, we had the songs. I was like, Paul, would you take a stab at producing some of these? And so Liar, I knew the moment we wrote it was Tommy James and Caitlin Smith. We just went in to write, and she's a phenomenal writer. They both are. And I knew the day we wrote it, I was like, there's something about this song. It's how I felt when I wrote Gary Allan's Life Ain't Always Beautiful. Tommy and I wrote that, and the day we wrote it, I was like, there's something about this song that I can't shake. Like, it was really deep. And
his performance of that was perfect.
There's no one else that could have done that.
I would agree.
Any better at that, especially at that time in his life. He was going through so much, and it was the perfect person to sing that. But yeah, so Paul just grabbed the music. I gave it to him, and I said, run with it. And Liar just turned into this unbelievable experience. And originally, we were like, should we pull the trigger on strings? It's a little bit expensive, and should we do it? And Tommy, the co-writer, was like, do it. Put him on it. So
I'll make it easy for you. Do it.
Paul, just it was just a beautiful experience. Yeah.
We're going to share that experience with the world right now. What do you say?
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
I'm still hearing Liar in my mind. It's just what a performance that was. And the production and the reverb just gave it this haunting thing.
Gosh, thank you, Bill.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of it. It's magical.
And it's being well received, I understand, by radio all over the world this morning on Drop Day.
Yes, I'm trying not to cry about it. I put lashes on, so I don't want them to get messed up. But I'm telling you, it's just made my heart so happy. Yes.
That's Cyndi Thompson live from our Acuff House studio all over the world on WSM Radio and your favorite Circle streaming platform, or just watch at CircleCountry.com. What was it like to be back on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry?
Wow. It was so emotional for me because of the conversation I'd had with my dad, and my mom was there, and I actually surprised my mom. She knew ahead of time, obviously, but just to see her face and think about that my dad had the best seat in the house, honestly. I know he got to watch it. And then to be singing with Vince Gill, just of all the things, it was just like this beautiful moment that I could never recreate. And then my children were there. They'd never been to the Opry before, and I kind of purposely did that because I was like, one day I'm going to play the Opry again, and I'm going to be their first show there. So it was just, all of it was so intense and magical, and just, I don't know, I want to do it again. That was great.
You will.
Thank you.
That's Cyndi Thompson, that unmistakable voice on Coffee, Country, and Cody, WSM Radio, and our Circle Country television streaming platforms all over the world this morning. Thank you for getting up early and coming in and doing that.
Thank you. This has been awesome. You guys are the best.
And heybellco.com is your jewelry.
Haybell is spelled Haybelle, co.com. Yeah, like a hay bell, but not. It's fancier.
And are you out touring at all, or where can people see you?
Well, right now,
I know you're going to be at Chiefs in the fall.
I am in November, but we've got some things in the works. So you just have to stay tuned. You can go to my website and keep up there and Instagram, all the things.
All right.
And Haybell, by the way, has made it to the Oval Office and the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Now, that's pretty cool.
I know. Yeah, I started jewelry about 3 years ago, and it kind of got into the Country Music Hall of Fame before me. But hey, I'm there now, finally. So no.
This is the closing question.
Okay.
If you were at the Paris Olympics, what would you be competing in? What would be your sport?
Well, I used to swim competitively, so probably swimming.
Who's just won 13 gold medals in swimming?
Katie Ledecky.
Yeah.
Or you could just make the gold medals. That seems like it'd be a good gig, right?
Well, I would just bling them up. I can add rhinestones to anything. So let me know if you want your gold medal studded.
You need T-shirt merch that says, I just bling them up.
Yeah. It's true. It's the truth.
That's Cyndi Thompson. I'm Bill Cody. That's Charlie Mattos. And this is Coffee, Country, and Cody.